we're talking about quarterbacks, and I have this thing about quarterbacks. I'm a believer that some quarterbacks really are important to their team. I'm also a believer that some of them are super divas. I've also got this thing, where there are certain guys that really just drive me crazy, Lance. And you've heard me mention them before. Like, for example, LeBron James. LeBron James should never speak in public, in my opinion. Everything he says sounds ignorant. Everything he says comes from a place of privilege. Since the day LeBron James graduated high school, he has been rich. In fact, we're not even sure that when he was in high school that he wasn't already getting paid by Nike or somebody. So LeBron James talks about a rough childhood, which he very well could have had. But from 18 years old and up, he is so detached from reality that most of the things he says to me just don't resonate with me. He just comes off to me like a privileged, spoiled child. And there's another guy in a different sport that has recently caught my attention this year and has been acting the exact same way. And his name is Russell Wilson. And this guy's been driving me crazy all year. Somebody got in Russell Wilson's ear before the year and told him that you need to be this kind of person. You need to be a more outspoken, an electric personality, and that's just not Russell Wilson. I tried to listen to his podcast one day. It was painful how fake it is. I've seen him talk. I've seen him do like little promo videos. It's just painful to me how fake it all is. It's just so contrived and so constructed, and so is this bullshit. Tell me what's happening in Seattle with Russell Wilson.
Okay, so with older athletes, older quarterbacks, that is, they always try to find ways to remain relevant. And I guess that's where Russell Wilson is right now. You have a Josh Allen, you have the Baker Mayfields, you have the Patrick Mahomes. So they still have a lot of years left. So in the perception of Russell Wilson, hey, I'm still one of the good quarterbacks in the league. Why are people forgetting about me? So maybe that's the time he was able to come up with the Let Russ Cook slogan.
Yeah.
And of course, that Kobe Bryant tribute video that much to our dislike, it's still up in the internet. So
insulting.
Russell Wilson publicly stated, and he doesn't normally do this, he publicly stated that he basically is fed up getting sacked a lot. And he has actually the numbers to back it up, because since 2017, Russell Wilson is the most sacked quarterback in the NFL with 188. Deshaun Watson is second with 173. And then Russell Wilson also has been sacked 100 more times than any other quarterback since he entered the league in 2012. So that's 441. So there are numbers to back up his claim that he indeed is getting sacked a lot. But as a true leader of your squad, you don't say it publicly. That's why you have team meetings. That's why you have player meetings. You can go to Pete Carroll. You can go to the offensive line coach. You can go to the general manager privately and say your sentiments without going to the public. So
exactly. This is bad leadership.
This is a bold move. This is essentially it's Russell Wilson against the Seahawks right now, because on one end it's him, and on the other end it's the rest of the team, because he's like throwing everybody else under the bus already with what he's saying.
I just want to interject. I don't think it's Russell Wilson against the Seahawks. I think it's Russell Wilson against himself. Russell Wilson is having an internal culture war where he feels that he needs to get attention at all times. Something happened along the way and somebody said, Russell, you're not getting enough attention. Or maybe he felt like he wasn't getting enough attention. He's been in the news all year this year about some other bullshit, whether it's him telling the world that he spends $1 million a year taking care of his body and talks about I think it's called Team 3, which is like his private chef, his body man, his personal trainer, like another person. Do you understand how unrelatable you are to the rest of us? Like, what do you think? What do you think? The rest of us hear that you got a chef and somebody that wakes you up in the morning and stretches you out, and we're all like, oh wow, we're so intrigued by this. No, we think you're a dick. Most of the people in America right now are struggling to pay their bills. Most of your fans are struggling to pay their bills. Most of the people in the country right now are working through this pandemic. There's a 10% or an 8% unemployment rate, and you're out there bragging about how you spend $1 million a year on your body. You're so unaware of what's happening in the world. And now you see all these quarterback controversies going on of like, well, geez, Deshaun Watson sure is getting a lot of attention because he wants to get traded. So Russell comes out and says the stupidest fucking thing that he could possibly say and starts complaining about his offensive line. Like, what are you doing? These are the guys you go to war with every Sunday. These are the guys you work out with all year long. These are supposed to be your brothers. These are supposed to be your teammates. If you don't get traded, which you're not going to because you have a $40 million cap hit if they get rid of you, if you're not going to get traded, you got to go back and look these guys in the face. You got to go back and stare these guys in the eyes and say, hey, listen, I'm tired of getting sacked. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to look down at you because you're a fucking midget. And they're going to say, listen, if you didn't scramble and get outside the tackle box all the time, you probably wouldn't get sacked so much. That's what's going to happen. So I don't know what the hell he's thinking. And I apologize because I just don't like Russell Wilson. Something about this guy bothers the shit out of me.
Well, there's just some people that really ticks you off. And yeah, just to add to Russell Wilson, I guess what will happen when he returns to camp is like, what happened to Paul Crew during the third quarter of that game against the guards, wherein the offensive line just let the guards pass through and sack him 3 straight times. So I guess that might happen. And reading between the lines of what Russell Wilson is also saying, I guess he's playing through the emotions of the Seahawks fans right now, the 12-man, so to speak. Because if you dig deeper with his statements, I guess what he's trying to say is, I'm scared with the rest of my division. Because let's face it, Matthew Stafford now with the Rams, so Sean McVay can run his offense finally the way he wants it to be. So it's like bombs all over downtown. And you have an up-and-coming team like the Cardinals, and then the 49ers who will have their full power.
Yeah, so I get it. It's a tough division.
But so I guess that's how he's playing this.
Hang on. You're saying that he's talking to the Seahawks fans. What's he saying? Your franchise, your team, the people that you love, the team you come out and support and root, one of the best fan bases in the NFL. He's saying, guess what? They haven't protected your quarterback. He's trying to get them on his side. These are normal people. Like, what are you talking about? You're making $40 million this year. I'm sorry you got hit a little too much. Stay inside the pocket. What else can I say?
That's a problem for Russell Wilson, staying inside the pocket because he's not one of the taller quarterbacks. So he really has to move around the pocket.
So, Lance, I want to apologize to everybody out there really quick. For some reason, the chat got disconnected for a second ago. That's what I was trying to do on my phone. I was trying to get the chat back up. So I do have the chat back up. We have a couple comments from the Peanut Gallery. If he doesn't want to get hit too much, he should have played football, laugh out loud, be a TikToker or something. There's money in TikTok. I don't know if there's $40 million, but there is some money in TikTok.
We can ask Juju about that.
Here's another one. Is there something you could say positive about LeBron? Like what do you admire about LeBron? Listen, you want to talk about LeBron James? LeBron James is quite possibly the greatest basketball player of all time as a basketball player. I mean, and I can separate the athlete from the man because I can admire you as a basketball player. I have a tremendous amount of admiration about LeBron James. What's the best thing I can say about him? LeBron James actually made me rich. So years ago, I owned a sports club in sports bar in Hollywood, Florida called Whiskey Tango. And you could look it up. I actually ran a promotion that said every time the Heat lose, LeBron had just signed. Every time the Heat lose, we'll pay your entire tab. And LeBron James and the Heat started off. I think they lost 7 out of their first 11 or something like that. Anyway, we were on national television. We were on ESPN, Good Morning America, the NBA channel. Business was good. Business blew up through the moon. Tons of publicity, tons of extra free money, all because LeBron James was there. I have a tremendous amount of admiration for LeBron James as a player. I have a tremendous amount of admiration for Russell Wilson as a player. Obviously, these guys are elite, next-level athletes. Russell Wilson in particular, LeBron James was a prodigy from the time he was a little kid. Like, he was going to be the number 1 draft pick in the NBA when he was 12. People knew that. Russell Wilson, no one thought he was going to make it. So I have even more admiration for Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was a 4th-round draft choice that people laughed at and said he was too short to play quarterback. But he made it. And he didn't just make the team. He became the starter. He became the starter in Seattle for the time that he played there as a rookie. So I got a tremendous amount of admiration for these guys as Athletes, I don't have admiration for them as human beings because, quite frankly, they sound like they suck.